Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Great Awakening Generator. I am Rose McNair, and today I have with me Lynn Drewett. And Lynn is talking to us today about nutrition and vitamins. Hello, Lynn.
Hi, Rose. Thank you for inviting me here today.
How are you?
I'm pretty good, thank you. It's very nice to be here, and I hope you're well too.
Thank you. I am well, thank you. And I've noticed that in the last few days we've had some technical glitches going on. And so we're just going to go with the flow. So to our audience, I want to say if you suddenly see us freeze or something, that's happening at the moment. And I know that you've used to this happening on YouTube because hey, other people with big names have done it too. All right, so we're all good. Lynn, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, there's a lot to tell, but I'll shrink it down. So basically, most of my life before coming to Australia, I traveled a lot with my parents, and my father worked for Boeing. So got to see a lot of the world. Ended up in England and then immigrating to Australia back in the early 70s. We landed in Adelaide and lived there for a while. I got married there, had my two children there. Then we made a sea change to Queensland. So I'm in a suburb of Brisbane now and have been since about 1999. Really like Brisbane. It's a very nice place to live. In that time from then on, I spent 7 years teaching oral English in China, which was quite an experience for me.
Wow.
Hubby and I went off there and where we were actually going to only go for a year, but it ended up being 7. So I got really homesick and came home.
Okay.
And then in 2010, came home to Australia with no job. No one wanted to hire me. So I went to the local council and they had a program running to get middle-aged people back into the workforce because I was about 50 then. And I was successful in getting a job through them, which started my career in pharmacy.
Okay.
So that's community pharmacy.
Yeah.
And I was at the entry level, of course, which most of the young ones at entry level start when they're a junior.
Yeah.
I felt like I was a senior in the entry level. But
Yeah.
anyway, I embraced um, what I could learn there. So I learned about um, medications, which that's not my forte. I'm not a great believer in medications, but they do have their place.
Yeah.
But I was offered a position in the vitamin section in our pharmacy, which was a very big pharmacy in a Westfield shopping centre here in Australia.
Mm.
And for me, it was like, okay, the gates opened and the horse was running, and I just couldn't get enough knowledge. And I did every course. I've done a naturopathy course. I couldn't get my hands on enough information to satisfy my thirst for learning about nutrition and vitamins and all of that. So
Okay.
I'm not a naturopath, Rose, and I don't have a title as such, but my 14 years in pharmacy being in vitamins, I've learned a lot from professional people, seminars and naturopaths that come into the store, and of
Mm.
course all my own learning.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's how I sort of got into what I was doing or what I am doing.
Mm. So that was in a nutshell, but it's clearly a very worldly experience you've had on the planet so far, traveling and having a career change and living in China, and that would obviously be very different from how we live. There was a time a lot of people were doing that, right? Going to China or going to Korea
Correct.
you know, teaching English and then ending up living there. I mean, I have a sister that went to Korea, and we thought she was going to be there for 3 years. It's now, I think, 10. She went in 2003. So that's like 20 years now that she's been
Wow.
there. And at one point I thought she was going to leave, but then she is not talking about leaving Korea, South Korea. She's still,
Yeah.
you know, she's still there. So clearly there's something in it. There's something in that environment that sort of keeps people staying there because it's a different culture and a great experience. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about nutrition and vitamins. And thank you for telling me how you got to it. But what is your experience like? I mean, you've been working with vitamins or vitamins for 14 years, you say, but a lot of it is connected to nutrition. And so, what is your experience with nutrition and vitamins? I mean, you obviously assist others to choose the correct vitamins for themselves, based on whatever symptoms they might be experiencing, maybe like low iron or something like that. So, tell us about your experience.
Well, for me, nutrition, vitamins, diet, they're all linked together. And what I kind of learned in pharmacy, like, you can sell someone vitamins that, they come into the store and they want a particular thing, but really when all's said and done and you start talking to people and asking them questions, and they're usually on some kind of medication or something's dysfunctioning in their body. And, I just say to them, what was a typical day for you? What's your diet for the day? So just by asking them that question, you can, and not that you're judging these people in any way, you're just
Yeah.
trying to help them in a better choice for them. So over the years, I think, and also what we're going to talk about today has actually changed my life in doing what we're going to talk about, which is the alkaline diet. So, but vitamins and the alkaline diet, there's a role for both because people are needing vitamins as well because they don't eat that well. Yeah, so it's important for both.
Yeah, so I think we've heard often we hear people do not eat as well because of the lifestyle we have these days. We have a very busy lifestyle, and so we're always on the go. We're rushing. We've got work, we've got home, we've got children, we've got study. We're doing so many things all together, and
Mm.
so we sort of neglect if we can stretch ourselves a little bit more without stopping and looking after ourselves, as in eating our meals. Some people don't even eat a meal, right? We hear about that, and that in itself is not good. You should not miss your meals, but more importantly, because of all that busyness, we don't actually think about what we're eating. We often eat what is quick and easy. And so quick and easy doesn't necessarily equal healthy and good for you, or you know, yeah, it doesn't equal that necessarily. So we found that anyway, there's that all of that happening. And in this modern day and age, because of that, there's so much of talk about diet, and there's all these different things that you can have: a paleo diet, keto, uh,
Yes.
all this stuff, right? And then people just go on diets or intermittent fasting or all of that. So you were telling me about the alkaline diet, and I know for me it's been recommended alkaline diet because I have a lot of, they say alkaline diet is based on stuff happening in the body where there's a lot of heat in the body, that sort of thing. That's what I understand it by, and that's my ordinary understanding. So you can tell us about it. So when we spoke earlier, you said you're gonna, you would recommend the alkaline diet. So maybe talk to that a little bit.
Okay. So basically, when I was doing a lot of my research in pharmacy for vitamins and that, I came across some interesting information about alkalinity and how alkalinity does not, how do I say, when your body is more alkaline, you can't have any diseases in the body. And that really interested me because I thought, well, you know, in our day and age, and just like you said, Rose, with what we eat, fast food, and, you know, poor choices in food just generally, it's very easy to get sick and things start to happen in the body and dysfunction. So I came across this website, which is run by a man called Ross Bridgford. And I read his information and I downloaded a PDF file that he had. And I thought, oh man, you know, this makes so much sense. So I, like with anything, I don't recommend anything unless I try it myself, because
Yeah,
that's how
makes
I
sense.
operate.
Yeah,
I can't tell people about this unless I know that it works.
yeah.
So busily, my husband and I, you know, went on this. It's more of a lifestyle change, really.
So,
Um,
so if I may ask, so you weren't experiencing a health issue that made you
no,
choose this. You just
just weight. I wanted to lose
researched.
weight.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Okay, right. Okay.
yeah. So that was my reason for doing that. So, um, and I always liked eating healthy, but you know, I was working full time and fell into the trap of probably not looking after the body so well too. But I've never really had any health issues um, until lately with my back. But anyway, that's another story.
Yeah.
But so the alkaline. What was your question again, Rose? I've forgotten.
You were explaining the alkaline diet and you said you were doing your research
Oh,
and you
right.
found the website and then from there you thought, well, this looks like it's good. And yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So with this website, you basically make food choices that will encourage the body to stay in a more alkaline state. So let's, for example, just off the top of my head, if you eat a hamburger and you know that as the body digests that food, it's an acid food in the body, and that creates inflammation and you know lots of dysfunction in the body. So with an alkaline diet, you would eat a certain food groups, and you do cut back on more acid bearing foods, so that you know your body becomes into equilibrium, and you know the weight comes off, and you just feel better. You have more energy. You have more mental clarity. You just feel better, or
Yeah.
you know, just full stop. You know. So the I think for me, because it wasn't such a big thing to change to an alkaline diet, because I was kind of doing things in a way, but not quite aligning to that. And it was just rearranging and structuring things where you're cooking things fresh and having fresh vegetables, and I thought, well, okay, let's embrace that. So in 3 months, I actually lost 15 kilos.
Wow.
And my husband, I think he was doing 20 or 25 kilos.
Wow.
Um, and we just felt amazing. So through this information that I had, I then started talking to people in the pharmacy, and actually sharing this website. I got permission to share Ross's website. They didn't mind me giving free information out. So I guess over the years, I've sent hundreds of people to Ross's website, because I
Yeah.
truly believe it works, and
Mm.
it's not that hard.
Yeah.
It's simple.
Yeah. I must admit, I haven't looked at that website. I don't know if you've sent me a link to it. I haven't looked at the website, but would you say this to our audience? Hey, I don't know Ross personally. Do you know him personally, Lynn?
No, I
No,
don't.
and we're not marketing for him, but we're saying what we're talking about, just to put that disclaimer, and we're not his marketing agents or anything like that. What
Mm,
we are saying is, hey, this is where there's help if you were thinking you have weight issues, maybe even health issues. And if you're thinking your diet might be the thing, this is where you can maybe go and look into it and research it. Obviously, not to visiting the doctor, visiting a nutritionist, all of those things, that's all your prerogative. You do that, whatever it is you need. But why we're talking about it today here on the Great Awakening Generator is I've come across recently, I've come across what sparked me asking Lynn this, is what I'm trying to explain before we carry on. I've come across a few people that were having, that I've worked with in terms of the esoteric, doing a light language session with them or something like that. And what's actually happened is one of the things that comes to the forefront is weight. Some people are experiencing things in a negative sense or in the opposite way of goodness in a holistic way. Like they're having emotional trauma, they're having physical trauma, they're having self-esteem issues, emotional trauma, that kind of thing. And what I'm realizing is that more and more people are needing to have a holistic way of assistance. Not necessarily we only work with helping them with light language, or helping them with Reiki, or helping them with, harmonic egg, whatever it is. But perhaps it's diet too, because you can get your help in that time. But what is it that you're going to take long term? If losing weight makes somebody feel better, then that's probably what they should be doing, right? But that would be their choice, and they would have to do it in a way that changes the lifestyle, because I'm hearing lifestyle needs to change in this. Right?
Correct.
Lifestyle
It
needs to change
is.
in this.
Yes.
Because you can't, for a long, long time, we have had these one-time fixes, or we've fixed one area, and then 3 months later, we're back to the same thing. And we're like, okay, why is this not fixed? Why am I going back to this? What is it? Because maybe other things are connected to that one area that haven't been dealt with, like the diet. Because if you have self-esteem issues, like if somebody, for example, we're using the overweight situation because that's the easiest one. And I have no problems with overweight people. I've been overweight myself, and we're not banging on about overweight, but we're just using it as an example. But like overweight, if somebody feels like, I don't feel what's my self-worth, I don't feel like I'm valued or whatever. What is the programming about them? Why? What's it? Is it because I don't look as good as other people? Is it because whatever? But what is the seat of the overweight situation? It's manifesting in the physical, but what's behind it? So, both things like that as necessary to look at, I feel. So this is why I thought Lynn talking about nutrition being part of it would be great to be on the channel, because I like the alkaline diet myself. And when somebody talks about alkaline diet, I understand, because I use it myself, especially for rheumatoid. Alkaline diet it's taken me from unwellness to complete wellness, and kept me off medication for years and years and years. Yeah.
Yes. And everything that you said, Rose, is, I resonate with all of that.
Yeah.
And, it's not, when I talk to people in pharmacy and just say, it is a little bit of a sea change for them. But, on the other hand, I say to them, well, what is actually happening in most people's body is the biggest thing is inflammation.
Yeah.
So, and inflammation is like, it can be in the bowel, it can be in your joints, it's really everywhere in the body. And it makes you so uncomfortable.
Oh, yes.
And, you get on to painkillers and, all sorts of things to take those aches and pains away. And some of these autoimmune diseases now that are popping up, if you could just get the chance to tell people that if you switch to an alkaline diet, it's going to give the body so much more ease, make it so much more comfortable.
Yeah.
And plus, if you need to lose weight, you will, but if you don't, the weight's not going to drop off like that. The body just seems to know that it doesn't need to lose it. And I don't really understand how that works, but it does work that way.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. It just like you actually just feel great, more energized, more alive,
Yeah,
more fresh, more up for things, right?
yes.
Um, so Lynn, we're talking about alkaline diet. What is it? What is the alkaline diet? I mean, like I know you said uh,
Okay. Mm.
fruit and veg, fresh fruit or fresh food, but please explain a little bit about what is that in terms of what is it physically? You know, I know that you were saying, oh, you could tell us what it's not, to tell us what it is, but it would be nice to hear what it is too.
Okay. So firstly, before I say what it is, there are certain food groups that are acid bearing in the body, and those groups of food are dairy um, and some meat. Fish is okay. Um, anything in the rice, pasta, noodles, anything made from wheat are really the main offenders. So, and of course, sugar. And sugar is a big thing because sugar creates inflammation. So those food groups you really need to curb down. And there is a rule with alkalinity. So, you can do 80% alkaline foods and 20% acid foods. And when you do that, you don't have to give up your acid foods or your piece of chocolate cake or something that you really, really enjoy, providing that you're balancing it out with the 80% of the alkaline food choices. So then the body isn't taxed so much. So that side of it, I mean, most people know that wheat is bad for them, gluten is bad for them. Most people know, all your takeaway and your processed food is bad for you. It's just whether
Yeah,
they're ready to give it up,
yeah,
basically.
yeah.
But the good thing about changing to an alkaline diet, you can eat unlimited amount of vegetables. There's so much in the way of recipes and things available now that you can get inspired to cook with.
Mm,
You can eat um, certain types of bread, so spelt bread, buckwheat bread, sort of healthier choices like that. You can have brown rice, which brown rice is a neutral food, so it's not a food that you need to give up, but white rice is something that creates inflammation.
yeah,
You limit your fruits, so all your like blueberries and strawberries and berry range, you can have in a smaller amount, but that also too creates inflammation, fruit, because the sugar in that turns into fructose
yeah,
and that causes inflammation.
yeah.
Um, so, we're not asking people, I'm not asking people, to give up your banana on your oatmeal in the morning if that's what you like. But it's just, being aware of the foods that are going to create that acid environment.
Mm,
So I'll
mm,
give an example, like with dairy. So, normal milk is acid forming. So there's choices like your almond milk, oat milk. There are other milks that you can use besides your dairy. And cheese is probably something that you would need to give away because cheese is so loaded with chemicals.
yeah.
It's been proven that cheese has opioids in it. So it's altering the chemical thing of the brain, which I won't go into, but
So,
you know,
so interesting thing you say about cheese that's got opioids. Is that a natural chemical that's in it, or is it a part of the preservation process?
it's part of the food that they feed the livestock with that, you know,
So we're talking
the
about
chemical,
cows here, obviously, because milk
yes,
is
we're
what cheese is
talking
made
about,
from. Yeah.
yes, yes. So
Oh,
the
wow.
fodder that they're fed is laced with chemicals.
Wow.
And yes, yeah, there's quite a big study on that with the opioids.
Hmm.
Yes,
Wow.
of
I've
course,
never
we
thought
know what
about it like that.
opioids do.
Yeah. I've never thought about it. What does opioids do? Please remind us, Lynn.
So opioids change the chemical components or the structure of the brain. So
Okay.
you become addicted to cheese.
Wow.
And when you eat a lot of cheese, obviously that's going to be more acid bearing in the body.
Wow.
Um,
Hmm.
with On Ross's website, he explains about the opioids. It's quite complex in the way that it affects the body. It's just like, you know, you have a back injury and you go to the doctor and the doctor gives you opioids for your pain, high strength opioids. So, you know, somehow, I don't know how, but it's been sneaked into our fodder and chickens and cows and pigs and whatever as well.
Hmm.
So there's been a lot added to
Hmm.
our food that is
Okay.
making us chemically sick.
Just an eye opener about the cheese because cheese was my go-to food for a long time.
Me
Cheese
too, me too, Lynn.
and corn cracker, not even the rice cracker, because the rice cracker, I just can't. It doesn't make me feel good. But just it's a go-to food. It's my snack because not always with the cheese, but I mean the cheese is a thing that's sort of like at lunchtime. If I'm in a hurry, I'll have a corn
Mm,
cracker and a few slices of cheese on it, with a few crackers, and that's what I'd have. Or sometimes
yes,
I could have some fruit or maybe cucumber or something. Wow, that's an interesting. Wow, maybe
yes,
that was my
yes, it
problem all
is.
along. Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to rethink my choices about that now. So, what's a typical meal in plan for someone's day? Like, and share your meal plan if that's easier because
Yeah.
you're eating this food and you prepare it and you think about it. So, tell us about it.
Okay, so my typical day would be like I start with oats. So if you have unstabilized oats is okay. You can have a chia pudding. It's quite easy to make a chia pudding with
Yeah.
almond milk and cocoa and those types of things. You don't put sugar in it because you use dates as a
Yep.
sweet. Um, as I said, you can get sprouted bread. You can put avocado, tomato on it.
Hmm.
That would be like a breakfast, or you can do veggies. There's lots of different types of way you can do veggies very quickly.
They're the easiest things to cook fast
Oh,
too.
they are. It is
Oh,
a little bit of time to prepare things, but
yeah.
really, when you think about it, it's really not that much.
Mm-mm,
Um, when
definitely
you once
not.
you get into the movement of it all, lunch, like you can make like a cauliflower fried rice. You can have your spelt bread with um, lots of salad and vegetables. There's just so much you can do.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it's For dinner, I would have um, like tonight, we do roasted vegetables and I'll do a stir fried vegetables, perhaps with some fried rice. Sometimes we have a little bit of fish. You can have tuna if you like, or some fresh fish. Yeah, it's okay. So it's basically just cutting out those food groups that I said, and it's not inhibiting in any way to get inspired with the choices that you have in the alkaline diet.
So it just brings to mind the 80/20 concept. So if I was to do 80%, I had a raw vegetable salad because I do sometimes. I mean, my Ayurvedic doctor says I always have to steam my vegetables because of the type of body. How they have Vata, Kapha, that the body type you have, right? So my
Yes,
body type requires me to have a little bit of my even my salad vegetables have to be slightly steamed, and I'm like, not so keen, not so keen sometimes. Well, I'm not going to steam lettuce, thank you, but okay. What I tend to do is I'm just throwing a spanner in the works here because I don't do this, but if I had to have my raw vegetable salad, and I do love the raw vegetable salad, there's specific vegetables, and you can have some condiment type, like for example, you could have like a little sliced broccoli, a little bit of chickpeas, little bit of, maybe beetroot that has been soaked in vinegar for a while, or carrot, and just different things that you have, cucumber, all of that, and then drizzle with olive oil. Drizzle of olive oil. I don't normally add pepper and salt to my salad, my raw salad. But what if, and then normally I'm not big on eating eggs, but I might have half a boiled egg with that. So that sounds quite an okay
Apart from
diet.
the egg yolks.
So 80-20, 80-20.
Oh, you could do the 80
That's
20
80-20. Yes.
have the egg with it.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
and I mean, I know egg has amazing nutrition,
Yes.
but if you do the 80-20 rule, sure, because people don't need to completely give away their meat. If they want to have a steak or, chicken or
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah. Yeah.
just remember the 80-20 rule. If you've not been naughty through the course of the day
Yeah,
and
exactly.
eaten too many acid foods where
Yeah.
you're unbalancing things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like the 80-20. There's just something about it. When I was traveling, the one time I came across a raw vegetable salad and I thought, oh my gosh, I could eat like that every day. And then sometimes you could sprinkle sunflower seeds on it, or you could have
Mm.
walnuts scrunched up on it, and it's just amazing food, right? And if you feel like, oh, I just need a little bit of, like, maybe run a little bit of mayonnaise over it or something, because you just want a bit of that kick or flavor in the food that is basically raw food, right? I just feel so rejuvenated after eating a meal like that. I just love it. um
Yeah.
yeah, and I go through
And your
phases where,
body is loving it too, Rose.
yeah, I go through phases where I do that diligently, and then I go through phases where I don't. And the reason I don't is, I'll say it this way. In the last, say, 2-3 years, I've just, with all the energetic shifts we've been having, because now we're coming to that question, with all the energetic shifts we've been having, I went through phases where I was not hungry at all. Then I was suddenly very hungry, and I just had to have that big steak. Or I probably went through 10 months without eating any red meat. I couldn't eat red meat. I couldn't cope with it. So it comes back to, how is the alkaline diet matching our intuition and the processes that we're going through at the moment? Because how do we recognize, hey, this is an ascension symptom that this craving is about? Rather, I know that's a tricky question, but
It is
I
a
mean,
tricky question. Thank you.
it's a very tricky question, because although I've followed that alkaline diet, like maybe 90% of the last, say, 10 years, but there comes a time where, well, in the last 2 years, I kind of like had to go with what my body was craving at the time. So what do you have to say about that, Lynn?
So, from my experience, I mean, and with all the energy shifts that we're going through, of course, ask your body what it needs. Just be in tune with your body. And I quite often do that with myself. Do I need this fish today, or do I need this vitamin D today? And I'll get an answer. Or you can do the sway test,
Mm-hmm.
which is really easy
Yeah,
to
the
do.
muscle testing.
Just hold it in your hand, and if you sway forward, it's a yes, and if you sway backwards, no, you don't need it.
Yeah,
There are ways of communicating with your body, and it will tell you what it needs. And of
absolutely.
course, if you're really craving for something like a juicy steak or whatever, have it.
Yeah, yeah,
And then satisfy that, and then you'll think, oh, well, I really didn't enjoy that, and I won't do that again. I mean, I've done that lots of times with all different foods.
So it's interesting that, because I am not a vegetarian. I've been like vegetarian, not out of choice, not because I'm choosing to be a vegetarian, but because I just did not crave meat, chicken or fish for like a long, long time, right? And then I go through phases. Like I said, I didn't have beef at one point. I didn't have beef for 10 months. I didn't have any beef. I say this because I'm conscious that a lot of people that watch might be vegan or vegetarian, and with all due respect, I have often thought I might go vegetarian or vegan, and I'm not there yet. not yet into that space of, because I've been going through these phases of I need meat, or I don't, or I crave meat, or I don't, or all of that.
Yes.
But and it's an interesting thing that's happened recently is, we have been getting I have been getting my beef from the organic home kill, as we call them, home kill in New Zealand, where they get the cow, and it's I don't like using the word beast, but they get the cow, and they basically have everybody has a share in it, and then it's taken to be responsibly I'll use the word slaughtered, or to the abattoir, and then every part of it is used, every part of the animal is used out of respect to it, so organic beef. And I've now bought this about 3 or 4 times in the last year. And I just have to sorry, there was a distraction because it looks like some doggy's gone away from its mother, but I see there's a car there, so it must mean it's there. So sorry. But so in the last 3 or 4 times that I bought it, that that we had this beef, I just loved it. Absolutely loved it. The taste was great and everything. And then I got my beef, the last one, a couple of weeks ago, and I'm not into it anymore.
Mhm.
I mean, it lasts me a long time. It lasts me longer than so I don't get it every time that they have it available. But this time I was like, I ate it and I just couldn't taste it, and it didn't taste good, or I don't know what was with or what was up with it. So I don't know. I just feel like quite often, since I've been going through the ascension process, like in intensity, food is just like that. So yeah, sorry, I digress. But yeah,
Yeah,
but we
but
are talking about
that's
food.
fine. I mean, and that's all about listening to your body, and if it wants it, have it, and if it doesn't, don't have it.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
there's no, I mean, going through our ascension and, all the symptoms and things that go through mentally and emotionally in our bodies, I don't think there's any written manual for any of this. You just have
True.
to go with the flow and what you feel is right for your body.
Yeah.
But I think, bringing this forward about the alkaline diet is that it's a clean way of eating, and it's the least amount of chemicals that you're putting into your body. It's healthy. It will ease your pain, if not get rid of your pain. And in time, your diseases that you have, and what you're suffering with, whatever that is, if anything at all, is that you'll just notice, oh, well, that doesn't hurt anymore,
Yeah.
or this doesn't hurt
Yeah.
anymore. Or you
Yeah.
go to the doctor and the doctor says to you, oh, what have you been doing? Your cholesterol's at a nice healthy level now. We don't need to put you on any medication, or your diabetes sugar levels are much better now. And that's what happened to my husband, actually. If I could just quickly
Sure.
talk about that. So about a year ago, he was a real chocoholic. He
Okay.
Even though we were doing the alkaline diet, he was, getting back into the habit of eating a lot of chocolate and chocolate biscuits, anything chocolate, into his face.
Yeah.
So he went to the doctor to have some blood work done,
Yeah.
and the doctor revealed to him that his blood sugar was 13. And he said,
Okay.
look, we're going to need to put you on medication if
Wow.
do something about it.
Yeah, the normal level should be about what, 5, right?
About five,
Yeah.
4, 5,
Yeah.
6 is okay.
Okay.
Um,
Wow.
so anyway, he came home and he told me, and I said, well, I don't want to point the finger, and I've been telling you for years, but beside the point, I'll help you get it down. So we really knuckled down, and we made a few changes with the diet, and the doctor said, come back in 6 weeks and we'll do another sugar reading. And we really knuckled down with the alkaline diet, and he was very good. He went back and they did another test, and the doctor looked at his results, And my husband could see the look on his face, like he was so puzzled. And he said, "Is there something wrong?" And he said, "Well, I don't understand this." He said, "Now your sugar levels are really good." He said, "How did you do that? Can you tell me how you did it?" So, so I mean, I won't go into it because what we've been talking about is the solution. But it can be done, and you
Yeah,
can change type 2 diabetes within 3 or 4 months easily if you follow the alkaline diet.
I
I've seen
believe
it
that.
happen hundreds and hundreds of
Yeah,
times with people.
yeah, I believe
Yeah.
that definitely. I mean, a lot of times the sickness in the body is, yes, there's metaphysical reasons, but also we always have to look at what is practical that we can change. Because, this is what I think. All right. So, okay, so we're going through something. Let's see what is practical for us. What is it that I can control without going to anybody else? And basically my diet is what I can control. And that's
Mm.
that's where I start. It's one of the things that I recommend, and I've recommended to a few people recently, is drinking water that's got a high alkalinity percentage, like 9.5% alkalinity water is what I've been drinking. And it was recommended to me last year when I was really unwell. When I had the inflammation and I was struggling to move had inflammation in my joints. And it's 9.5% alkalinity. It is local water, sourced locally here in Auckland, in the Waitakere. And I noticed with this water, that's the thing about it. When I've been drinking this water, and I've got some here in my glass anyway, when I've been drinking this water, it actually flushes through my system as if when it feels like what my system feels like when I was a child. When we were little, the water was different, where the water we were drinking from the tap was not, we weren't drinking bottled water as children. And it just feels like it flushes my system out. Even if people are experiencing constipation and things like that, and of course, no, that's like talking about stuff that we don't want to talk about publicly. But hey, even that, if you're drinking water with the right alkalinity percentage, that can actually help you. You can even ease the inflammation in your body. So it's important to drink water. A friend of mine was talking about, she was talking about kombucha, and kombucha is great for prebiotic, probiotic that it is. But these days, like when I started drinking kombucha, I used to make my own kombucha at home. Like I'd get somebody locally had the SCOBY and she was sharing it because the SCOBY kept growing and making more babies. And so she wanted everybody else to have it. And so I used to make my kombucha at home and that was like fantastic. But then I got really busy and I couldn't do that. And then what you do then is you think, oh, I'd like some kombucha. You buy it from the supermarket. And just remember with kombucha, because you can get that taste, like the SCOBY has a taste. It's highly sugared because they're trying to mask the taste, or they're putting in a flavor so that you don't taste it, smell the SCOBY and be put off.
Mm.
But that's what you're exchanging for having a drink like kombucha that's meant to be good for you in terms of your probiotic or prebiotic. So I just found that if I just drank the right water, I would get results in my body. It cools my body down, inflammation reduces, and also that the movements are regular and it feels like I'm completely flushed out. All the toxins, all the waste in my body is coming out of my body. And okay, sometimes you have to do this the toilet journey more than once. Well, not more than once, more than the regular times. But would you rather have that than be all blocked up and feeling lethargic and heavy and all of that stuff, anyway.
Well, that's right. And then the body reabsorbs all the toxins and goes back into your liver and all your organs
Mm,
again. So,
yeah,
yes, it's good to have that. But there are a lot of people that aren't so blessed in that way. But it's all due to what they put in their mouth, unfortunately.
that's right. Now the thing I want to ask Lynn, in terms of the alkaline diet, I mean, we are really promoting that people use organic products, right? Organic
Yeah.
vegetables, organic fish. Well, organic fish. Can you get anything else? Yeah, you can. You can get fish in processed ways, but I mean, fish. is, I don't know, do they do anything to preserve fish when it's caught? It's caught, it's caught, it's caught, right?
Wild caught, I think is what they call it.
And wild caught. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, so we're promoting the idea that, or the practice of organic vegetables, and we're encouraging people to try and plant their food. Even if they don't have spaces, you can have planter boxes on your balcony, that kind of thing, right?
Yes, absolutely. If you can grow all your own vegetables, that makes it perfect.
Absolutely.
Um,
Exactly.
but I visit a local market where they have either organic or spray free.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or if you can't get organic, spray free is the next best thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and they just taste. It just tastes so much
Ah,
better.
absolutely. Absolutely tastes so much better. You can tell the difference in
Yes.
when you buy something that's been sprayed and or grown well, in a fast way rather than something that's organic, right?
Mm.
Um, so yeah, Lynn, what else before we close? I wanted to ask, do you think an alkaline diet? I mean, we were talking about intuition, but do you think an alkaline diet helps us with intuition, and how?
Well, absolutely. Because if you're eating clean, healthy foods, and everyone's perception of what healthy is different.
Yeah.
But if you do the alkaline way, or just do part of it if you can't do it all, just try and make transition to not eating so much of the processed foods
Yeah.
and buying our foods from the supermarkets because they're all gassed and processed in some way or another. They have chemicals in them.
Yeah.
If you can support the local farmers and buy their fresh product. So the body, in doing that, you're not putting all those chemicals in your body, and the body is going to be much healthier. It's going to be more energetically vibrant.
Okay.
Your mental clarity, just everything changes.
Yeah.
Your energy levels. A lot of people talk about clean food, and you know, it is clean food, but it also is food that is very appetizing, and you really look forward to putting that vegetable dish together and you know getting creative with it. I've loved doing that. I mean, that's
Mm.
one thing Ross does on his website. He gives free recipes.
Okay. Great.
He has amazing recipes to inspire people, and they're not difficult. They're all prepared in 10-15 minutes max. The most time is chopping up your veggies, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they're quite simple.
That was an easy flow into where people can go to get more information about an alkaline diet, because that was going to be my last question. And thank you, Ross's website, and everybody, we're going to share Ross's website with you. I'll put it in the description box. So if you were thinking that you want to check out more what the alkaline diet is, I want to say, like, even with my dog Baxter, just by the by, when he had some issues recently with his health, and he had a skin condition. He had scabs all over his body. He was itching so much, but we just couldn't figure out what it was all about. We took him to the homeopathic vet, and he said to us that he didn't think it was environmental. That is why, you couldn't figure out what was causing the itching, and he thought it was in the gut, and he just said, well, let's change the diet, change it to brown rice. I mean, brown rice and vegetables and chicken mince. And of course, we discovered, okay, so Baxter has some trouble with chicken mince because he had an ear infection and that was aggravating it. So we changed it and just gave him hare or rabbit or something like that, right? Instead of beef or chicken. And we did give him venison, but very little. Nevertheless, what I just found was, like, within days, there was this improvement. And I mean, and then I thought, oh, Lynn had told me about brown rice because you and I spoke about Baxter prior to that. You mentioned brown rice, and I thought, I think there's something in this, and I should eat brown rice too. And It's really good. It's a really good, hearty, nutty, healthy. It's not boring and soft, or it's like you chew it, and that's the thing, right? The action in the mouth when you're eating causes a lot of um, um, juices or whatever stomach fluids to activate stomach fluids that actually help your digestion. Wow, I
Correct.
remember that from all those years ago.
Yes, the gastric juices.
The
Yep.
gastric juices, and when you are eating your vegetables, like because they have different textures and different whatever, that feeling of chewing and or that action of chewing causes the digestive juices to be activated and helps your digestion. I mean, that is what we got taught all those years ago in school. And I know that it sounds like that was ancient, but even if it is, you know what, going back to your roots right now and to how we can be healthy is really a thing. It has come to the forefront to be like that, right? Yeah.
Correct. Yes, and we should go back to those times, you know, our
Yeah.
parents and our grandparents, because that's what they did. They grew their own vegetables. They cooked big vegetable casseroles and, you know, really wholesome, delicious food.
Yeah.
And we've got away from all of that now because it's become processed and fast and quick, and I'll run here and get that, or I'll get it delivered, and it's
Mm.
just become such an unhealthy eating style for most
That's right.
people.
That's right. Then is there anything else you want to tell us before we say goodbye to everyone?
Well, I'd just like to say I've just been so happy to be here. Thank you, Rose, and to share some of my knowledge. It is a solution for many people if you can just think outside of the box. Just make a few changes to your diet and slowly introduce the alkaline way. And I think once you start seeing results, like with your, you know, pain and managing pain, you'll really think, oh, this is really working, or if
Yeah.
you want to lose weight or whatever. But I will say that over the 14 years I've been doing this and sharing Ross's website with people, the amount of testimonies that have come back from people, you know, they come up to me, they hug me, and they say, you changed my life. You know, where have you been? I've told my friends, and, you know, it's just lovely, real feel good feeling
It's
that you
yeah.
know that you've put someone in the right direction, providing they're ready to listen and make the change. Not everyone wants to make the
Yeah.
change, but
Yeah.
yeah. So it's just planting the seed, and that's what we're doing today, I think, is just planting that seed
Yes.
to look into something that's going to make your body healthy.
Absolutely. And you know what, Lynn, I just have to say thank you, because thank you for coming on. And I know we've been talking about this for a while. We did a recording. We had some issues with the internet, and then we didn't post it. But thank you for your patience, and thank you for coming and talking to us today here on the Great Awakening Generator. And I want to say, from what I can hear and from the things you and I have had conversations about in terms of nutrition and vitamins or vitamins, I really know that you understand the combinations of those things and the needs that people might have, and that's why your friends or customers that come to the pharmacy can say what they're saying, because that's what you do there to help everybody, and you're doing a great job of that. And so I'm really grateful that you took the time to talk with me today.
Thank you. Thank you for your kind words, Rose.
You're very
Appreciate
welcome.
you very much.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Thank you.
Well, everyone, I hope you've learned something from this today, and we are going to put that link to that website onto the description box. And so please, if you want to go and find out more about the alkaline diet, then please feel free to click that link and go on there. And Lynn has got her own YouTube channel, so you can actually sorry, there you go. The neighbor's asking me for something. So what you can do is you can go on to Lynn's, sorry, I've lost my train of thought. Start again. Lynn has got her own YouTube channel, and that's where you can contact Lynn if you wanted to talk with her. But I want to say I've had an idea for Lynn, and she probably has had this idea for herself before, and I'm going to talk to her about it afterwards. And then you might see Lynn on YouTube doing something different, maybe about nutrition in the future if she goes with it. So
Oh, that's so bizarre, Rose, because I've had an idea just come to me in the last week, and it's going to
good.
be something about what you just said.
Yeah, I'm glad. You're welcome. I'm so glad. I'm so glad because I just had this feeling that, I don't know, today I got a download when I was getting ready for our chat. Anyway, everybody, watch the space. I have to say thank you so much again, Lynn, and thank you everyone for joining us, for watching this,
Thank
and
you.
whenever you catch it. Yeah. I
Thank
know that'll
you.
be relative and relevant. Yeah. Good. Thank you, everyone. Catch you next
Thank
time.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.